Hello, my name is Richie Poe. I'm the privacy lead at Cobalt.io. We are a IT security and data privacy consulting firm based in Vancouver, British Columbia, and we are specialized in small to medium-sized businesses. I'm here to tell you about the new piece of legislation called the California Delete Act, and this will probably be applicable to your business, even if you're located outside the state of California, if you happen to be processing personal information on residents who reside in that state. The California Delete Act is a new state privacy law that passed in October 2023. It is intended to give consumers who reside in the state of California additional privacy rights by giving them the option to opt out of unnecessary forms of collection of personal information. The Delete Act provides additional consumer rights that were first established in the California Consumer Privacy Act and the Consumer Privacy Rights Act. The act will be registered by California Privacy Protection Agency, which was created through the CPRA. The CPRA is intended to act as a regulator that's empowered by the Attorney General of California. The Delete Act applies to data brokers. It's a defined term and includes any companies that regularly collect, use, disclose, and sell personal information to third parties without the consent of the people from whom they gathered that data. One example is a marketing firm that gathers consumer data and discloses it to retailers, but provides the personal data in a raw form that includes customer testimonials and contact information, but given without the consumer's consent. Another example would be a telecom that gives geolocation or similar metadata for apps that track user location. A more sensitive example with far-reaching legal consequence would be reproductive health data. This third example is particularly dangerous because if a consumer has had an abortion in the state of California, but resides in a state where abortion is illegal, the disclosure of that person's reproductive health without consent may lead to that person being faced with criminal charges and possible imprisonment in her home state. The right to delete personal data is therefore rooted in protecting privacy rights and freedoms of consumers. The Delete Act does the following. It establishes a registry of data brokers run by the state of California who would act as regulators to ensure that data brokers act within the law and do not violate state privacy legislation. This creates an obligation on data brokers to register with the state so that they can be regulated and act in compliance with the legislation. It also acts as a do not contact list, where consumers can advise the state that they do not want their personal data collected or tracked beyond the purposes for which the personal information was disclosed in the first place. And finally, it creates a one-stop shop where consumers can advise the state that they wish to opt out of tracking their personal information. The state would then direct data brokers who are registered with them not to track the consumers and to hold those data brokers accountable. The state would retain a record of the consumer do not track request. Failure to register as a data broker in the state of California is $200 for every day that they are not registered. It's unclear if this has retroactive effect and remains to be seen. The fines under the legislation under CCPA would still apply. So the fines will include $2,500 for every unintentional privacy breach or incident, while the fine for every intentional incident is $7,500. If a data broker processes personal information for thousands of consumers, these fines will add up quickly. How can we help? Cobalt can assist you with complying with the California Delete Act. We have several modules that will help you comply with applicable U.S. data privacy laws, including CCPA. The goal is to help determine if you're a data broker, identify your obligations, and ensure that you are empowered to report to the California Privacy Protection Agency and respond to regulated requests. If you have any questions, please contact Cobalt.